March 29th, 1983. This is Joe Todd, an interview with Stella Dill, D-I-H-L.
And we are, they're Dills. My, one of my, one of my brothers he decided he would change his name to Dill. But my father but Uncle John, he was an architect and he had worked different places, and I guess he didn't want to he was German.
Yeah.
So anyway, my dad always kept his name Dihl. And then I have some in California that are Dihl.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones you find here are Dill.
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Henry and those.
Right. Where were you born?
I was born in Kansas.
Kansas.
Up at Leavenworth, Kansas. It's outside of Kansas City.
Mm-hmm. And when's your birthday?
29th of January.
What year?
1899. This is 1883, so I'm 84 now. That's the only way I can keep it. I tell you, I've always been trouble with that birthday. Of course, when I was a little kid, I told everybody how old I was.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother now, but I can't have to think, and then I think, well, I don't have to worry. I just 1 year older than this. Mm-hmm. So it's 83, well, I'm 84.
Who was your father?
My father was Joseph Dill. He was born in Ohio.
And who was your mother?
Mother was Pauline Zeugin, Zeugin, and she was born in Switzerland.
When did she come to this country?
Well, that I don't think I would know what it would be, because I don't think I went back that far. Just about 1899 was when we came back here. Mm-hmm. But I don't know how long my grandmother lived in Paris, or anyway, when she came to Kansas, Grandma did. And her name was Zeugin. And that was where your name came from, Switzerland. Mm-hmm. And then she married my Dill, so she was...
Now they went to Nebraska?
Yeah, they were in Nebraska. They went to Nebraska, and they thought it would be real nice there. My father went up there, but they'd have so many times wasn't good. They'd have maybe had to be raising little pigs. The pigs would die, and the other things would happen. They would die, and it just was too much. So my other friends of theirs came to Kansas and Oklahoma. They came to Oklahoma because we were having homesteads here. And so my father came down here to homestead, and he stayed here.
What area did he homestead? Hmm? Where did he homestead in Oklahoma?
Oklahoma, right outside of 1 mile north and 4 miles east of Okeene, Oklahoma. That's where they were.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What kind of work did your father do?
Well, he did different things. He had a hardware store, and I guess he didn't like that, didn't do too much on that. And then he did his farming. He was more of a farmer he had a hardware store, and I think he worked in the hardware store. I didn't remember that. I was just a little kid.
Did he have a hardware store in Okeene?
Yeah.
What was the name of it?
I don't know that either. I was a little girl.
Yeah. What kind of crops did he raise in the farm?
Wheat.
Wheat.
Mm-hmm. And wheat.
Do you have any memories of Okeene?
Well, yes and no. It does not. Okeene, we used to always go to Okeene. We had to go in a horse and buggy, and we'd go there and have to go to get there. Didn't have a train right away, and when they left Nebraska and Kansas, they went on a train as far as Oklahoma, and that's where the train stopped. And then they had to get out. And my uncle took his old wagon there, and that was Henry, that was Joe Dill's brother. Mm-hmm. And he came out, and I was only 2 weeks old, and it was winter, and they had to take me there. And then Mother said she had me all wrapped up, and we went in a wagon, and we were covered up over our heads so we didn't get cold or anything like that. But we made it there, and then we stayed with my uncles for a while. And then Dad got his homestead. And when you get your homestead, you have to have so much property on it and so much fence in. And we were near the Cimarron River, if you know where that is.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were there, they'd have to go to Hennessy, Oklahoma, which was across the Cimarron River. And he went there to get the lumber and things to build a little house for us. And we only had a one-room house. And so my dad he was a pretty good fellow going along, but he did well. And he went there and had one room for us. When he came down there, he had one room for us. And then he built another part on it. And sometime in those areas, people lived in sod houses. If you've ever heard about a sod
Yes.
house.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't. But I went to school in a sod house. And then we had another one went in a rock house. It was made of rock. And that was rock house, schoolhouse.
Mm-hmm.
But they were pioneers there. They were the pioneer family in Oklahoma. And I know some of it a little bit. I've got my history going together and seeing how much of it I wrote about it. I wrote more of my history of the family rather than
Good.
anything else.
Good. What kind of chores did you do as a child on the farm?
What kind of chores?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they have to carry the wood in and empty the ashes and everything. You don't have anything. You had a wood stove, and that's what you burned. Later on, it got a little. You get coal and get it in, and now, of course, they have oil. They've got a lot of oil in that area,
Mm-hmm.
and so when Dad would go across the Cimarron River. Our priest came from Hennessy, Oklahoma, and he always had two horses, and my dad would drive through there by horseback to see if Father could get across the place, because it was quicksand.
Yeah. What was the priest's name?
Father DePrater.
What church did he have in Hennessy?
We had the Catholic Church there.
What was the name of it?
I don't know what their name was. Where did you say?
In Hennessy, you say?
Well, our church in Okeene, St. Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where Father DePrater used to come and have masses in our homes. That's the way we went at that time. And they're all there. People were pretty well there in Oklahoma. That's where they have the snake hunt. You don't need to put that in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What kind of crops did he raised wheat, didn't he?
Yes, we had wheat mostly, but we had Kaffir corn too. And then we had to try to raise some corn because we had pigs too. Mm-hmm. My dad had a lot of pigs there.
What'd you do with the Kaffir corn?
Well, it was for chicken or to feed stock and everything like that.
Mm-hmm. When did you start to school?
Start school? Well, I was about 9. I guess I was about 5 years old. I don't know.
Was the school in Okeene?
No, we lived out in the country.
How far from Okeene?
Oh, we were 5 miles from Okeene. 1 mile north and 4 miles east. And we had to walk 1 mile north going to school. And you just nearly froze. You were so cold. It was uphill all the way home. And I was always crying because I was cold.
What was the name of the school?
The school was it was first called Sod Center because it was made of sod. And then it was, we called it, after that, they called it Independence School. And it was just a little one-room school. And we had a big old stove in the middle of the place. And we tried to keep warm there. Mm-hmm. And we had to have the chick place, to go. It was pretty cold to go out there. And we had to pump our water there at school. We didn't have any way, and the kids had pointed. And we didn't have any way of washing our hands. We just did nothing at all. We didn't know what we did. And we'd play, and we had a good time. And some of the other churches would they had their church in the Sunday school in our school on Sundays. But we
it?
always went to St. Anthony's Church in Okeene, and we drove our 1 mile and 4 miles back to Okeene, and it's still that way. Of course, there's no one living on our homestead now. It's been closed up, but we say we're keeping it. That's our prize.
Yeah, yeah. What was your teacher's name at the independent school?
I don't know what their names yet, but I know there's a book that's got their picture in. It's the cutest thing you ever saw.
Yeah.
And if you want to see anything, maybe at the library, go to see the book about the story of Oklahoma in Mrs. Wright. She has a Wright book there, and it's a history story. But I think my brother had that. My brother lives in California. He was always wanting it all the time. And finally I broke down and gave it to him. It may be in the attic at the place. I don't know.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to high school. Let's see. Well, I didn't go in Okeene. Where was I when I went to high school? I was in Kansas, Iola, Kansas. We moved up to Iola, Kansas. And we stayed there a while. Dad thought he'd like to go up there. And I went to high school there and graduated from high school then. But we came back to Oklahoma because we didn't like Okeene. We didn't like it up there.
At Iola?
No, it was in Kansas.
Yeah, Kansas. Okay.
So we came back to Oklahoma and we back. And then we lived just 1 mile north of Okeene. That's the last place we had lived, right there.
When did you go to nurses training?
When did I go in nurses training? 1925.
1925.
Well, there's quite a lapse between that and
Yeah. What'd you do during World War One?
World War One. I didn't do anything World War One. I was young then, but I did. Well, I don't know. No, I went to when I got so far, I didn't know whether I wanted to be a nurse or a teacher. And then it was a little hard for teachers to go to school, but because I wanted to teach, and as soon as I got through high school up in Kansas, we moved back to Oklahoma, and I couldn't get any school because I was a Catholic. You're a Catholic, aren't you?
Episcopalian.
Episcopalian, well, that's pretty close.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I said, well, I'm going to quit. I can't get a school. I can't get any room in school. People would say, well, no, she's Catholic, and I couldn't get any school. So I said, well, I'm going to be a nurse. I said, if they want somebody, if they're sick enough, they'll take me whether I'm a Catholic or what I am. So they had a little hospital there in Okeene, and doctor was always calling me to come and help out when I came. And someone said one time, well, she's a good nurse, but she's a Catholic.
What was the doctor's name?
Oh, doctor, I don't know what his name was. He wasn't there too long.
Where'd you go to nurses training, nurses school?
I had my training at St. Anthony's Hospital.
Here in Oklahoma City?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Who was in charge of the school at St. Anthony's?
Well, my sisters had it. Sisters from St. Francis they were the sisters there, Franciscan sisters, and they came from someplace in Maryland, I think it was. Mm-hmm. And I didn't get tired. We used to work hard. We used to have to work, and we would be maybe get up, stay all night, and take care of a patient. And if we did, we had to put a cot in there and get that too. And I said, well, I don't like it. And I said, if they're sick enough, I don't think they need to go to bed. So then I kind of changed around on things and got into, I still was nursing, but I wasn't in that area. Mm-hmm. So that's...
How long was your nurse's training?
Just 3 years.
3 years?
Mm-hmm. I think that's what it was. Mm-hmm. 3 years. Had to take a state board examination.
What was your fondest memory of nurse's training?
Oh, yeah, we all had a good time, and we had a lot. No, I'll tell you, nursing is something that's really something. My dad thought it was terrible I was going to nursing. He said, oh, you don't want to go there. But I wanted to go because I'd been teaching, and I had friends that were nurses. That was it, too, and they'd come home and tell about so much, and they said, well, if you want to go, we can have all our books that we have here. So we got that, and we got it all together. Mm-hmm. But that was, well, it's nice. I've had a good life, if you want to know about it. Mm-hmm. This doesn't bother me at all. Well, kind of hard to just take things up, you know. And I had the one history I finished, but I intended to write another one. And I don't know whether I'll ever get around to it or not.
Was there a mother superior in charge of the nurses of the
Yes,
school?
Sister Lucy was our ahead of us, and she was Franciscan. I like Sister Lucy.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was I was still teaching, but I went there, and Sister Lucy was really good to me because she knew that I had more of that study. Some of them had to have high, but I didn't. I had high school and went into nurses training, and some of the girls didn't have any nurses training.
Mm-hmm.
So she helped me there and very kind and good to me. Sister Lucy was lovely. And that's when they built the little 2-story nursing home there.
Well, thank you. Let me